Hello, friends. I have a great episode for you today. As you've probably seen, I've changed my podcast name. It's been so hard, so I dive into that and share why I've done it and how hard it's been and what I've had to do to step beyond that struggle. And I think it'll really help you too, so that you can find your voice and forge your own path. Grab those headphones and listen in, and let's step forward. Hi, friend. Are you ready to conquer doubt and believe in the power of your voice? Confidence doesn't hide, play small, or diminish its abilities. It actually steps forward. Welcome to Step Forward with Terry Mullen. I'm a mom to 4 adults, wife of 34 years, a midlife entrepreneur, and your confidence coach who turned self-doubt into courage and confidence to speak, write my book, start my podcast, and launch my business. Now I empower other amazing women just like you to do the same. I share practical strategies to crush fear, boost confidence, and use your voice to create greater impact and income as a new entrepreneur. I have walked this path, and I'm here to empower you every step of the way. Let's step forward. Trent Shelton said, "Allowing the world and its opinions to control your life is one of the slowest deaths a soul can experience. Don't be in a box." Wow. Just, right? Let that resonate in your soul. Don't be in a box. I'm such an outside the box kind of girl, and I want to inspire you with this today, because anytime we feel confined or we put ourselves in a box or we become that square peg trying to fit into a round hole, we're going to become agitated and irritated and frustrated and grumpy and maybe even confused. And if you've been feeling that way, that's a warning sign. Pay attention. Don't suppress it. Don't deny it. Be open to getting clear, getting quiet enough to get clear on where that's coming from. Because you're not honoring your truth, you're not honoring your voice, and you're not holding true to the vision that you have as you step forward with your business. Does that make sense? So how do I know this? Because this has been my journey the last couple months, and I want to share with you kind of why I've changed my podcast name, why it's been really hard, and how I finally realized that, I'm giving away my power and my voice and not honoring what my vision is for this podcast, and how I can help you step forward if you have experienced this in your life. I have 3 tips I'm going to help you with that will hopefully help you kind of move beyond giving away your power and your voice or trying to follow someone else's path. And this is different than taking a course or getting coaching from someone, because someone that's gone before you has tools and tips that can help guide you while still honoring who you are. So as I shared, I've been really grumpy and irritated, been agitated, feeling really confused. And that's a warning sign, right? And it's also kind of normal if you're stepping forward and trying something new. But if it goes deeper than just being frustrated as you're trying to make decisions, if it's keeping you stuck and you're swirling kind of the drain and not able to move out of it, it's something else. It's something deeper. And it wasn't until I listened to Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins this past weekend with The Game Has Changed when I heard Trent Shelton speak, and I realized, I'm trying to do this someone else's way. No wonder I'm frustrated. It's not working for me. And when that agitation and irritation and all that rises up inside, that's a warning sign. Those are the sirens that are going off saying, hello, things are not right. There's something off. And often we just kind of suppress them or ignore them. We pass them off as just a bad day, or you're not getting it, or it's a bad week. Does that make sense? But when that lingers, you really have to get clear. You've got to get quiet. You've got to pay attention to your own inner knowing, to God's Spirit, and put on your glasses, as Trent Shelton said, because those glasses are yours. It's your prescription. It's not someone else's. And don't expect someone else to be able to see through your glasses. That's your vision, your path, God's path and purpose for you. That's not someone else's. And they may not get it. They're not going to see it. It's okay. It's normal. The problem is that we look for approval and we look for validation from someone else. And then we get frustrated if someone else doesn't get it. And that means even people that are close to you, that love you, that might want the best for you, but they don't have your idea and your vision. They don't know what's in your heart and soul, really. Does that make sense? So if you're feeling this way, stop giving away your power, your idea, your vision. And I share in my book, Step Forward, that we all have these limiting beliefs or these imposters that rise up in us, especially when we're stepping forward and trying something new. And in my book, I share that author Margie Worrell says, when we name it, we can tame it. And it's so true. When we have this awareness and we can identify it, we can step past it and we don't stay stuck or swirling around in the drain, right? So for me, I've shared many times, my number one nemesis and imposter is Debbie Doubter. And she rises up anytime I'm stepping forward and trying something new and causes me to doubt my decision, where I'm headed. I look for approval, blah, blah, blah. So maybe that's you. And in the book, I list several other imposters with names just for fun. But maybe take a moment right now, if this is you too, and just make a list of those voices that speak to you, those negative thoughts, those imposters, right? It's a name that is thrown around so much in this industry now. But write them down, give them a name, make them light and funny. And when you do this, it really lessens its power. And anytime we have an awareness of something that's not working, or a negative voice or a negative thought that's in our mind and our soul, when we name it, we actually can move beyond it in a much faster way. We acknowledge it and we know what it is, and then we can start to do the work to get unstuck. So here are 3 things that I really want to share with you today, and what I've had to do this past week, especially to honor my truth, especially as a female entrepreneur, and just really acknowledge when those grumpy feelings kind of start to pop up. The first thing is to pause, acknowledge, and name. So if you're feeling really frustrated, like I shared, or feeling overwhelmed or feeling confused, it's really important to just step back. Take a moment away from your computer, grab a cup of coffee, go outside. For me, every morning now, I go outside with my cup of coffee. I leave my phone in my room. I grab my journal and I sit outside and watch the sunrise. And I listen to the birds and just listen to the world kind of come alive. I shared this before on my previous podcast. But that really just helps set an intention for the day. You can say a prayer, you can do meditation, whatever you do, but just get quiet, get still, because we're so distracted by so many things. We pay attention to what everybody else is doing on social media, and we think we're wrong. We think we need to do it a different way. And that distraction keeps us stuck. It keeps us from being true to who we are. You have to get quiet so that you can listen to your soul. Your soul knows. God knows. God knows so much more about you than what ChatGPT is going to tell you, or Gemini, or any of these other AI platforms that you're using. The answers aren't there. The answers are in your own spirit. Just get still enough to listen. Then acknowledge that you're irritated. It's a signal. It's a warning sign. It's not a random feeling. It's there for a reason. And don't beat yourself up for feeling frustrated or being grumpy or feeling overwhelmed or feeling confused. Accept it. It's a present. It's a gift. And it's something that you just need to look at so that you can move beyond it. And then, as I shared, name it. Put a label on that emotion. What is it? Or that limiting belief, like I shared with Debbie Doubter. What is that for you? Write it down. And like I said before, pause. Make a list. I know you have them. We all have those negative thoughts that ruminate in our mind repeatedly every day. And then try to figure out exactly where it's coming from. Like I said, for me, it's not honoring who I am, my voice, my vision for where I'm headed. Then after you get quiet long enough to listen and acknowledge it and name that emotion or that limiting thought, the next thing I want you to do is just to turn inward and ask why. Where is it coming from? What's triggering it? Are you overloaded or overwhelmed or just frustrated that you're not speaking your truth? It's not your idea. You're trying to do it someone else's way. Is there a gap in communication with someone? Whatever that is, ask yourself those questions so that you can uncover that source of that irritation. And this works in relationships too. This isn't just for business, right? But when you ask yourself these questions, getting that clarity will lead to a solution. And then the third thing you can do is identify your truth and take action. So once you have gotten quiet, you've paused, you acknowledge what you're feeling, and then you name it, writing all this down in a journal. Then you turn inward and ask why. Where's this coming from? What's causing you to feel this way? Why are you feeling this way? And sometimes just by writing, the words will just begin to flow. That kind of brings that clarity too. That's why I journal. It's super powerful. And then, like I said, then identify your truth and take action. You can't take any action until you know where the source is coming from. Does that make sense? And this doesn't always have to be dramatic or drastic, right? This is just about honoring yourself and speaking up for what you need in a relationship and in your business, and then creating a course of action to move towards that goal. And the other thing I would like to add is to reach out to someone that you respect, someone kind of on the outside that can kind of support you and listen to you and give you good feedback. And that could be a coach or someone in a similar space that's going to be honest with you and really listen to you and give you feedback that's going to support you. This is not looking for approval or validation. Does that make sense? So these are all the things that I've had to do this week and why I wanted to share this with you, because I think it's really empowering when we pause, we really listen to our own inner knowing and what God has really for our life and our vision. And trust me, I know as an entrepreneur, it gets lonely, it gets hard, it's messy. You're going to have moments where you just want to quit, right? We all feel that way. That doesn't ever go away. And the secret really is finding a coach and people that can really help you move forward. And those of us that are coaching never arrive. If you have a coach that thinks they have it all together, then find a new coach. Honestly, because the thing is, when we're coaching, we're always continuing to grow and learn more about ourselves. That's why it's called the personal growth and development space, because that's what we're doing. We're all growing constantly and learning new tools, new tips for our emotion, for our business, in so many ways, right? That's why we all take these classes and courses and follow people like Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins and all these thought leaders, because they empower us. They've gone before us. They help guide us and help us with our business and help us step beyond our own limiting beliefs. They have them too. They've just learned how to step beyond them. They don't swirl in those. So I hope that makes sense. And if you need some help, if you're a female entrepreneur, you're aspiring and a new entrepreneur, you want to start something, I'd love to help you. I do one-on-one coaching to kind of help you have clarity and kind of move forward with your vision. And I tailor that to your specific needs. And then I also have a course that I teach about empowering you, unlocking that power of your voice. It's called Speak. And that's a 6-week live course that I teach. We talk about really finding that confidence, finding the power of you. Who are you? Who are you really at your core? How to be you, not compare yourself to everyone else. And then I teach you also how to show up on camera and have confidence, and also behind a microphone. If you're wanting to start a podcast, I help you get launched, get you started really quickly and easily, if that's something that you want to do. And anyway, I'll link all that here in the show notes. But back to why I changed my podcast name. So, long story short, I got to a place where I really needed to up-level my business, and I've done that. And I'm always looking for coaches to help me, and it's been great, really, really great. But one of the things I had to do was do a podcast audit, and I shared this as well. I had Hello Redlow before, so if all of you who are following me and love it, I know I had a friend tell me this week that she was so sad, and I get it. Me too. I've grieved it. It's been really, really hard, because Redlow came to me in a dream. And Redlow is older spelled backwards. I'm older. I have resumed being an entrepreneur in midlife. I was an entrepreneur earlier in my life. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, so it's just in my blood. But I stayed home as my husband's career took off, and then I became an empty nester and trying to figure out what's next. Who am I really? Because somewhere along the way, I really lost myself. For so long, I was pleasing so many others. I looked for approval and just kind of tried to keep everybody else happy, right? But as my kids kind of one by one went off to college, I realized that I needed to do something for me. It was time to do something that empowered me. And I had a lot in me. I had a lot that I wanted to share with women. I wanted to empower women and help them step forward. So that's what I'm doing. I went on to write my book, start my podcast, and now coach other women. And I did that later in life. And if any of you are out there listening in, if you are midlife and you doubt that, you question, you wonder if you can do that, well, hello. Yes, you can. I say that if I can do this, anyone can. And I have some really interesting statistics I'd like to share, because I find this data really fascinating. Women over 50 are the fastest growing sectors of entrepreneurs. Let that resonate for a little bit. In fact, one of my favorite things to look at is the Forbes 50 women over 50. So if you ever doubt and think that women in this age group are stepping forward and starting businesses, go read that. It's so inspiring. You'll see women of all walks of life and what they're doing. But there are several studies and reports that have highlighted this trend that women over 50 are the fastest growing sector of entrepreneurs. And this growth is happening for several reasons. Number one, we are living longer. So women are reinventing themselves. Secondly, we have a desire for financial stability and freedom and independence. And as I talk to a lot of different women, that's the number one thing that women are concerned about is financial stability. And they want to contribute. They want to have an impact on the world. And much like me, that's been my story and my journey. Women are changing careers. They're reinventing themselves. And they're pursuing their passions and dreams at this season of life, just like I did. There are so many wonderful opportunities available to us, especially in this knowledge industry. Do you know that this industry does $1 billion a day? That's the self-education knowledge industry. Those are people that are coaching and creating courses. $1 billion a day. And it's actually projected to do $1 trillion a year. So if you have any thoughts of entering into this space, it's not going away. People are wanting to learn from people that have an experience and to get to where they want to go faster and learn from someone that has learned from their mistakes and have solutions that will help you get there to save you time and money and a whole lot of pain, hopefully, right? And the other thing is, if you're a woman over 50 and you're wondering what you have to offer the world, well, I had those thoughts, but we bring a wealth of experience and our skills and our successes and our failures. And we have an incredible network that we have gained over our lifetime that really helps our entrepreneurial ventures. And the other thing that women doubt often is that they're afraid of technology. They don't know, they feel like they're far behind. And just to demystify that too, women in this age bracket, me included, are leveraging technology and social media to launch our businesses. So whether you're on LinkedIn or whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or maybe even TikTok, or you have a YouTube, or you want to have a podcast, or a combination of both, I call that video casting, which is where this industry is all headed. Stop doubting, because women in this age group are doing it. And that's my goal, is to empower you and help you step forward with your business and your idea and to show up on camera, to have that confidence to speak, because that's what you will do with your business, especially if you're on social media, and to be able to speak behind a microphone. And it takes both that short form and long form content to show up and let people know who we are. So I dive into all of that in my course and my coaching. But I just want to empower you, because I know you can do this if you're questioning and doubting. And if you have those thoughts that have kept you stuck this last week or this last month, know that it's normal. The secret is really just moving beyond it. And for me, my struggle has been renaming my podcast because I was so attached to Hello Redlow. But the advice I was given is that as much as it means something to me, it's not really searchable. And when we're starting out, we've got to be searchable. And so I have finally settled on Step Forward with Terry Mullen, because my book is Step Forward. My whole mission is empowering you to step forward with your life and your business. That's a very empowering verb to help you move forward. It's what I do. And it's cohesive. It's synonymous with everything that I'm doing, right? That's my brand, Step Forward. So that's why I've done it. It's not been easy. It's been really hard. I've resisted in some ways. I've had to really look at that too. What is my resistance? And I think we have to pay attention to being resistant as well, because as an entrepreneur, we have to be open to change. If we're not, our business will just die. In order to thrive, we've got to continue to move forward and grow. So there's kind of that balance between that, right? And reach out. You need a coach to help you move forward. And I say all coaches need coaches. We do. We have to have that accountability and having someone help us to move forward with all that we're trying to do. We don't have all the answers. Our pride will get in the way and keep us from getting help and getting the answers. But the fastest way to get to where you want to go is to go get support and help from someone that's already been where you want to go. Make sense? So in closing, I want to empower you. I want to remind you that you are a trailblazer. I'm a trailblazer. And I want you to join Terry's Trailblazers. What is a trailblazer? It's a creator. It's a leader. It's an entrepreneur. It's an achiever, a pathfinder. someone who's curious and has a spark and wants to make an impact in this world. Being an entrepreneur can be so lonely, and we need to support one another and help each other move forward. And you can find my Trailblazer community at Female Entrepreneurs Step Forward. Okay, my friend, have an amazing day. Thank you for taking the time and listening in. I hope this blesses you and helps you step forward with your life. Know that this is a journey. We do it one step at a time. And I want you to know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are valued, and you belong. Until we meet again, keep stepping forward, and may God truly bless you. Well, I hope this episode really blessed you today and you had a few key takeaways that you can implement in your own life and business. If so, could you take 30 seconds and leave me a review? Because it blesses me to know that this podcast is helping you. And don't forget to click subscribe so that you can catch each episode. Until we meet again, may God bless you and may you continue to step forward.